Hi guys, Elizabeth Meservey with Thriving Results Coaching. Welcome to part 2 of Understanding Women. So last call we talked about you need a frame. You need a frame that says, I need to take everything I think I know about women and set it to the side. So that involves 3 steps of number 1, getting that what you think happened. So something happened with you and a woman and it was painful. So step 1 is take that event and get that what you think happened never happened. Your experience of what happened only happened in your head. It didn't happen out in reality. So basically it's like taking on the idea that your experience has a million valid interpretations. You picked one. That's not the truth. It's just one interpretation. Okay. And then step 2 is to, you know what, I'd love to pull up the picture of this really quick. Share with you guys. Let's see if I can do it this way. This one should work. Okay. So this is from our example on the last call. Do you guys see this? Let me make sure my chat's open. Okay. So the 3 steps are: get that whatever happened is not what you think happened. Get that you do not understand women, and then separate the data from the story, which I recommend you get a mentor or coach to do that. And of course, you're welcome to contact us for help. We do this with our clients because we have to free up men from their past beliefs in order to see how women really are. Okay, guys, so that is the summary of last call. Step 1 of understanding women is to get what you think happened did not happen. Get that you do not understand women, and you must separate what happened from the story in order to get women, in order to see them, and in order to understand them. Because anything I tell you, if you do not separate your past pain from what actually happened or your story from the data, if you don't separate that, this is going to be a mess. It's like me trying to create a whole nother picture on top of this mess on the whiteboard. It would be muddy, unclear, distorted, hard to follow. That is what will happen if you do not successfully set aside what you've already decided about yourself and women based on past pain. Okay, so is everybody clear about the summary of the last call before we move forward to step 2? I'm really excited. Darren's clear. What about Jesse and Scott? Come on, guys. Jesse's clear. Scott, what about you? Okay, perfect. I'll take it. He's somewhat clear. Okay, that'll work. So let's talk about step 2. So guys, once you set everything you think you know about women, and you can then see them without the distortion filters from your past. So one moment. Okay. Oops, that is not what I need to do. Scott, do not unmute. Okay, good. We're back together. So you've set aside everything you've ever decided about women. You've done the 3 steps that we just went over. And if you don't remember how, go watch the last call. It was in a lot of depth. The next step, when you don't have your filters on, is to get that you don't understand women. So I'm going to give you guys an example. So I need someone to interact with who's willing to unmute and take one for the team. I'm going to get set up over here on the whiteboard while you guys are deciding who is going to be the sacrifice. Okay, don't make me call on people. Come on, guys. Okay, let me say this again. Gentlemen, I need a human being to interact with to demonstrate part 2 of understanding women. So who's willing to come on audio only and participate with me? I'm going to open up the chat in case I'm missing something. Okay, Scott, will you do it? I do not have a volunteer.
I guess we'll see how this goes. I'll do my best.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a voluntold. It's Scott. Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much. Okay, so Scott, I got a message. So I'm a woman and you're the man in this scenario. So I got a message on Facebook from a man who said, thanks for accepting my friend request. I'd like to meet up at Barnes and Noble and see if we have mutual attraction. So that's you. Got that, Scott? That's the role you're playing. You're the guy. And I said, like, I don't know you. Those were my exact words. I said, I don't know you, period. I sent that back. This is over Messenger, right? So there's no voice to voice. So Scott, what does that mean? This is a trick question, but I want you to give it your best.
Okay, she says I don't know you. Well, okay, before I answer that, however, I mean, what is the connection? Like is it that we matched or something from a dating group or something, or I don't know, just
okay. I saw that. Oh, actually, this is what he said. He said more. I'm going to give you more details. So he said, I've watched some of your videos on YouTube and I'd like to meet up at Barnes and Noble and see if we have mutual attraction. And I said, I don't know you.
Okay. Gee, what would I say?
Gentlemen, all of you should be thinking to yourself what you made that mean. If you got this message, what did you make that mean? And this is only a trick question because we just went over the 3 steps of being able to see it and understand a woman clearly. So Scott, without giving me the right answer, what would you actually think she meant if you sent that to a woman? So Jesse says she's scared. What do you think, Scott? Jesse? Sorry, I really want to say something insulting about how you didn't volunteer yourself, but that's okay. I'm not going to. I'm Scott. What would you say?
Maybe she doesn't want him to feel like she's getting too emotionally invested and maybe want to hurt his feelings or something. I mean, that's one.
She doesn't want me to think she's emotionally invested when she says, I don't know you?
Or, okay. I mean, that could be, well, of course that's what, okay, maybe that's not what she means directly, but I guess she.
And what would you say to her based on this? That she might be scared, she doesn't want you to think she's emotionally invested. What would you say back, if anything? And this is really message not said, so.
Well, I don't know, maybe something along I guess the message I'd want to convey is something like, I don't know exactly how to word it, but just like, that's why I want to meet up or something, or, you know.
Okay, now, okay, guys, that was perfect, Scott. You can take yourself off audio. That was perfect. Jesse, you're next on the chopping block, my friend. So just get ready. Okay, just kidding. So, let's go back, guys. Let's go back really quick. Okay, Jesse, what are the 3 requirements in order for you to understanding women? I'll give you a hint. You need to read A, B, and C off of this list. Please come on audio.
Let's see. Get what you think happened, never happened.
Pause. So what happened that never happened that he thought happened in the scenario that we're playing out right now?
Rejection.
Yes! Rejection never happened. Okay, put in the chat. Scott, do you see it? Okay, what's step 2? Jesse, read B or the
Get that you do not understand women.
Okay, so the next step, Scott, is to you have no idea what she means. Guys, are you all getting this? Darren, please put it in the chat. I need some interaction here. Ben, are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, go to C, Jesse.
Separate what happened, data, from the story, interpretation.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you to do that, Jesse, because you were sweet enough to put something in the chat, even though you didn't volunteer. So that's why, oops, not that. Sorry. That's the same.
Okay, so what happened was she wrote, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And the interpretation was she rejected me. She's afraid.
Yes. Pause. So yeah. You're throwing out this interpretation as potentially true, but not helping you. That's the point of that you don't understand women. You don't know. So what should you do instead of saying, that's why I want to meet up? So we're going to rewind. That's the rewind sound. I'm not the greatest at sound effects, okay? So we're going to pretend that you never texted her back yet. And you're like, wait a second. I don't know what this means. She's a woman. I'm not a woman. That's your job, guys. All of you are supposed to take this on like you don't know what she means. So, Jesse, you're going back and you're going, I don't really know what she means by that. Maybe she's scared. Maybe she doesn't want me to think she's emotionally invested. Now, what do you say to her?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I don't know you. And you say, what do you mean by that? That's actually really good. What do you mean by that? I promise you, I would have really liked to have heard a question like that. But do you know what I heard instead?
Anger?
No, all the other crap. Oh, you're right. Never mind. Like he made up all this crap that I meant by it, and he responded to his crap that he made up. He never responded to what I actually said. Guys, what do you mean by that is brilliant. Always write that down. You should ask every woman that. If you ask your mom that, she's going to feel cared about. If you ask your sister that, she's going to feel like you want to get to know her better. That is a question, because here's why. Women love to be seen. We love, like it gives us air to breathe. We desperately love to be seen. Like we fall in love when we feel like you see our good side. Okay? This is very powerful stuff. But, so this is a really good question, Jesse, really good. But there's something else I want you to do in this scenario. What did she actually say? Guys, this is for all of you. In other words, at this point, go back to what she said. What do you think she means? Like by just the words. I'm not trying to be patronizing. I'm just so, this happens so fast, and every one of my clients does this. And so I know that this is basically a universal human thing. We interpret things and we assume our interpretation is correct, and it happens in an instant. So that's why I'm using this like patronizing voice with you guys. So I'm going to back off from the patronizing voice. I'm going to take a deep breath. So Jesse, what did she actually say?
I don't know you.
What might that indicate she wants?
To know me.
Yeah. Hello. Is it any of this other stuff? Did what she actually say indicate any of that other stuff?
Nope.
If she didn't, if she was afraid of you and you message her out of the blue on Facebook, what could she do?
Block me.
Yeah. Blocking you would indicate she doesn't want to talk. But she actually did talk. She said, I don't know you. Now, here's what you can think. I wonder what she means by that. ... What did she actually say? And then go back and read it again. Is this clicking? Darren, are you getting what I'm saying? Let me open up the chat. I can always count on Darren to interact. So excellent. Thanks, Ben. I got your chat too. Okay, so guys, okay, Jesse, thank you. You have done great. Do you want to finish this out? Because I was going to bring on another guy if you're done.
We can keep going.
Let's keep going. Guys, all of you should have a takeaway of what to say to some lady you've been talking to or interested in after this conversation. Part 2 of Understanding Women is get that you don't know what she just said and go back and listen to what she said. And the really powerful thing is to say back what you think she's saying. Did you get that, Jesse?
Repeat back.
No.
Restate.
No. Say, it's not going to be a restate. It's not just nuanced, it's completely different. You say what you think she means.
So I give her my version of what I thought she said.
Yes. Are you saying you want to get to know me? Or are you saying you're scared? Or are you saying whatever you think she's saying? Are you saying you're rejecting me? Are you saying you don't want to meet? Because that's what this guy thought, but he never said it. And he kept defending himself. I'm like, you don't have to. He said, oh, I offended you. I said, no, I'm not offended. And then he started defending some other interpretation. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I said, I'm not feeling heard. I kept engaging with the guy. And he said, I'm not feeling heard either. Do you guys get the absurdity of that? What's the absurdity, Jesse? When I said, I'm not being heard. What's the absurdity that he defended himself?
That he was asking you to do, or you were asking him to do something.
He was asking me to meet him, a total stranger that I've never met in my life or even interacted with in our group. He's in the group. He's never interacted. He was asking me to meet him. I said, I don't know you. And he got all this interpretation and he interacted and he couldn't hear me. And I said, I don't feel like you're hearing me. And he defended himself again. I don't think you're hearing me. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry for putting in this much effort and wasting both of our times, right? Okay, so let's try this again. Jesse, some woman just said, I don't know you. You thought she was rejecting you, but then you said, wait a minute. Elizabeth said, throw out what I think she means. I wonder what she actually means. What did she actually say? Oh, she said, I don't know you. Now, what can you say back to her that is responding to what she said, not your brain? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Let's see, I could say, would you like to get to know me?
Okay. Good. And then if it were me, honestly, I'd be like, how would I know that? You're a total stranger. Like, I would be a little bit like, okay. So that's good though, because you're at least asking what she wants. So now remember, guys, when I coach you, do I tell you to ask what she wants? Darren's an expert on this. He's a master. But Ben, why don't you take a stab at it? I don't think you've been in the earlier calls where I coached on this.
Say, ask her what I want.
Yeah. You ask for what you want based. Now you're still going to respond to what she said. She said, I don't know you. So you have a hint. Number one, she's willing to talk to you. Hello, guys. You normally don't notice that. Okay. You're jumping so fast to she's going to throw me out. So first of all, she's answering you. Number two, she doesn't know you. There's something there about knowing you that matters to her. Okay. So that's what you know, Jesse. So what could you say that represents what you want and responds to what she said? By the way, this is gold. You guys should be paying me a lot for this information, but I'm happy to give it to you. Just keep going.
Let's see. I want you to get to know me, and I want to get to know you better.
Oh, I want you, hold on. I want you to get to know me. And what else?
And I want to get to know you better.
Very good. And I want to get to know you better. Okay, guys, be honest in the chat. Would that be threatening for you to send that out? Oh my gosh, Ben, get that your comment, who really knows anyone anyway, is actually kind of like telling her not to, that I don't know you as a concern is stupid. So Ben, what you say here is a little bit condescending. So I want you to respond by saying what you want. Oh, good. Ben hasn't been on these coaching calls. Ben, I always coach men to say what they want and stop worrying about what she wants, because we actually want to be, that's attractive to us. That's very masculine. Okay. So Jesse, you're saying, I want you to get to know me. If that had happened, if he had said that, I would have, number one, it hooks my feminine attention. So I guess I want to go slow enough that you, let me just slow down, because I want you guys to be able to ask your questions as I'm going. I want you to understand this message. I want you to get to know me. Now, I don't know this guy from Adam. He could be, all I know is he lives in my region and he's watched my YouTube videos. And he says, I want you to get to know me. That hooks my feminine attention completely. And I'm highly trained and developed. So if you said that to me, I'd be like, who is this guy? I would now be curious. You're no longer a total stranger. Now you're a guy who I know acts with boldness. And I'm like, and you like my videos. So those two things, the fact that you've mentioned that you've watched my videos says, okay, you care enough about what I do to have found out about it, which what I do is very dear to my heart. Like what I do as a coach is what I was born on this planet to do. And you're declaring what you want. You want to get to know me. That's very flattering to me. So at this point, I would be like, oh, well, I actually might make an offer at this point, just personally. Not every woman would respond the same, but I might say something like, okay, well, we could meet on Zoom. So that's how effective that was, Jesse. Do you see how effective that was?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you getting out of this exercise, Jesse? Because I want to tell you something. That guy didn't get anywhere close to this. And I interacted with him for like 20 minutes. Like I kept texting him back. And I kept trying to express myself. And when he was finally like, I'm not feeling hurt either, I was like, wow, he doesn't even care how I feel. Goodbye. Okay, so just so you know, this one phrase would have changed everything. I want you to get to know me. I would have been like, what? Okay, cool. So, so Jesse, what are you getting out of this exercise?
I think it's something that I know intuitively, but that if you go in expecting to fail, those expectations will muddle what you're actually looking at, and you will probably bungle it.
Yep. So guys, I want you to get something. The way your brain is designed, and this is from call number 1, that was an hour long. I put in a 15-minute version because it was so freaking long on the group. Get what you think happened never happened. So if you go in expecting to fail, you are bringing your glasses, your distorted, that have never worked for you in the past, filters about women to the conversation. And all of you are doing that unconsciously every time. What are you hearing me say? Somebody else come on and please restate what you think you heard me just say.
I think you could restate it as you don't get women, you don't understand what's happening, and that's good news.
Yes, yes, you're getting this, Jesse. Very good. Okay. Yes. If you just take on that you do not see things the way they are, it frees you up to see what's really going on. Now do you get it now that we have a real live example? Jesse.
Yeah, I want to say that I get it, but I think I'm still learning.
Oh, of course you're still learning, but here's what I want you to do. Think of a woman you want to do, like, sorry, that came out really badly. Think of a woman you want to ask out or that you want to do something with, is what I was going to say. And have a conversation where you don't assume what you think she's thinking. Scott, this applies to you too. Guys, pick a lady that you want to get to know better and go tell her. And whatever she says, stop listening to the crazy man in your head that's telling you you're a loser. That's not her. Listen to what she says and say something based on responding to what she said. Guys, no one does this. No one does this. Do you see how simple it is? But it's so not intuitive for you. What's intuitive is to respond to what's happening in your head. And you know what happens when you respond to what's in your head, Jesse?
I've seen so far.
That was so great. That was so honest. Okay, Jesse, I want you to mute. I want to bring somebody else on. Who else is willing to be coached in this area? Okay, part 2 of understanding women is, once you've got that crap out of the way, because that's part 1, listen to what she says and then check in with her. And there's a couple things I want to add before I coach the next person. So Ben, it's you or Darren. So you guys flip a coin or something. Somebody's going to need to come on as a live interactive person. Okay. Perfect. Ben, Dr. Ben, come on. So don't turn on your video because this is going to be recorded, but your name doesn't show up in the recording. So, okay. So guys, what I want you to keep in mind is most of the time, women don't say what they mean. They say what they think is going to have them survive, which just happens to be different from what they mean most of the time. Versus guys say what they need to say to survive, but most of the time, it's the same as what they actually mean. Does that ring true for you guys? Good. Now, what I want you to get out of this is, it's not like what I'm telling you is to take everything she says as the truth. I would never tell you that. That's absurd. What I'm telling you is to listen to what she's saying and say back to her what you think she means. And then you can even ask, it's actually really refreshing when someone says, well, I want to get to know you. Are you interested in that? Or actually forget the are you interested thing. That's putting it on her. Just say, I want to get to know you and wait and see what she says. Okay, so Ben, why don't you come on and let's do another scenario.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Okay, so let's go back here.
1 second. Hi, Scott. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Darren.
Hi, Ben. Welcome to the call. So excited to have you. Okay, so all right. So tell me something that a woman has said to you recently, and I don't care if it's just we'll start with that.
Tell you something that a woman said to me recently.
Yes.
Okay. You probably mean something dating related, something along those
Well,
lines.
actually, that's fine. That works. Go for it.
No. What we're supposed to be doing is having fun.
Okay. And were you asking for something or what?
No, I mean, we were doing at a Zoom date, and she was very kind of bossy, and she wanted to play this game, and I was having a good time just asking questions and chit-chatting with her, and she's just being very demanding,
Yes,
and
clearly.
she wants to define in that sense of what having fun is. So her thing is, we're supposed to be having fun, and basically you need to do what I want you to do. And yeah.
Okay, so first of all, what did you think she meant by that? Because that's the first thing, right? You want to identify how you're interpreting this.
What do I think she meant by that? I think she meant that like what we were doing in her estimation wasn't fun. And what she wanted me to do was to go back to this game that she wanted to play. I'm playing a different game than what she wants, and she wants me to play her game. And
Perfect. Hold on, that's good. That's good.
I'm not playing it.
Okay.
Or she's not happy about that.
Okay, perfect. Really, really, really good. So if you get that what you think happened never happened, that's this. What never happened was she meaning that what we're doing is not fun. That never happened. You get that that only happened in your head.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then her wanting you to play her game, which this is in first person. So sorry, this tense is a little bit weird. I'm trying to correct it, but so she wants me to play her game is really what you said to yourself.
Well, I mean, that's what she said. She said, we had this game to these cards that sort of get to know you icebreaker cards, and she wanted to read them, and we were reading them, and then yeah, so that was it.
So okay, so guys, do you hear how if she actually said it, did you hear how Ben said she actually said she wants me to play her game as like he's defending his view? Do you guys hear that? Okay, so Ben, I'm going to coach you to consider that even if she says something outright, your interpretation of it is actually what you're responding to. Do you see that?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thanks for being so coachable. So step one is get what you think happened never happened. Like what you think she meant by all that never happened. What?
I totally agree with you. I don't really know exactly what she was thinking. I know my interpretations of it.
Yes.
But
So,
I mean,
yes.
that's all I had to go on based on how I was feeling based on her.
So guys, anytime you think your interpretations are all you have to go on, I want you to do this process. Let go of your interpretation based on the fact that you know is true, that you do not understand women. Well, Ben, you might not know that's true because you're one of my more confident gentlemen. So can you take on the glasses that you don't fully understand women?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So with those glasses on, separate what happened from your interpretation. So what actually happened from your interpretation.
Okay. Separate what actually happened as opposed to my interpretation.
Yes.
Okay. So what? Well, yeah. What actually happened? She wanted to. Yeah, that's difficult because I don't know how I can do that without. It's going to be an interpretation.
Yes. Okay. So really, all that ever happened was she said stuff.
Pretty much.
Everything else is an interpretation, right?
Right.
So now the only valid question as far as what to do next is what do you want now? Do you want to end the call? Do you want to redirect? Do you want to be in charge? Like, what does Ben want in this moment?
And when we were on the call?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Well, I I asked her another question.
Oh, whoa, don't tell us what happened. We're pretending we're in that moment right now. And how you could apply this is you could ask for what you actually want in that moment. So she says, no. What we're supposed to be doing is having fun. Now, what does Ben want?
Well, yeah, in that moment, it's what I did. We talked for 2 more minutes and I basically hung up on her.
You wanted to end the call. You were done talking to her.
I was done talking to her, and because there had been a number of things that she was just a person who is very, I would say, antagonistic. She's kind of, I mean, I was having a good time no matter what I wanted to do. She wanted to do something different. And I've been around people like that. And I was not having an enjoyable time. I wanted to have fun too.
Okay, so it sounds like what you wanted was to have fun, and the way that the call was going was not fun for you. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's pretend this is the first thing that happens in the call. So it's still not fun, but you don't have a history of I'm ready to hang up on her now.
Right.
So let's say this happens at the beginning of the call and you actually want, what did you have the call for? Did you want to get to know her? Were you hoping to get a date? Like, what was your goal?
Well, she'd been wanting to meet up with me and hang out with me. And so I said, well, we can do a Zoom call. And then it was our first opportunity to actually interact, like not through like a text setting, but actually like a one-on-one call, where you can talk to her and see what she's like and interact, which is important because I want to know what kind of person she is before I decide to let her closer into my circle. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know who I'm dealing with. So, yeah. So that was very interesting. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Are you saying you were trying to accommodate her desire to get to know you and you really didn't have a goal?
Well, I mean, I approach these type of things like with someone like this, that especially when you meet somebody through the internet or you don't really know them very well, especially the first time that you meet, I'm trying to assess this person to see whether they have the qualities and characteristics that I like.
Of course.
It's like, it's not just she did some modeling. She's a gorgeous girl, but physically, but that's just the physical part of her. It's like, what is she like as a person? And I was not impressed. Let me put it like that. I haven't hung up on anybody in a long time, and I ended up hanging up on her because she was just so atrocious.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is you wanted to get on the call to evaluate if you wanted to get to know her more.
Exactly. That's
perfect.
Right. And have fun. I mean, I wanted to have fun too. I mean, that's how.
Totally. And so.
No, it's not. It's a no-go.
Well, like you said, anything's fun for you when you're doing what you want. So it's like, it would have been fun if you had been able to just do this in a way that, was more relaxed, because you don't want to be in a structured box, obviously. Okay. So.
Well, not with her. She wasn't a fun in a box.
I'm not going in another box with you, lady. Okay, good. Okay, good. So what could you say at the beginning of the call to communicate what you want? Because that's really the only relevant point here.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Like, there were a number of times in the conversation where I would express things to her and she would just ignore them. I mean, that's another thing, for example, where I would say, well, I'm having a good time getting to know you, to break out these questions and do that. Let's just talk about this stuff. But then it was much more, the interaction was much more about she wanting me to do everything that she wants me to do in her way.
So Ben, I totally got that she was overbearing, and you actually did achieve your goal. You found out that she's not someone you want to know her more.
Right.
But hold on, but I'm actually coaching this for the group. This isn't like to get you to change the past or something. Okay, so stay with me for a second.
I will.
So what you said was, let's talk about this stuff. I want you to say it in terms of what you want. So you could start the sentence with I want, which would be my preference, or you could say it another way.
So I could have said, I want to get to know you better more as a person, and I don't want to necessarily play this game.
Beautiful.
And I could have said to her, there are many ways to get to know somebody. This game is just one of them.
Well, hold on. You don't actually have to teach her anything. This is what you want. So this is the important thing for you to say based on what I'm telling you, which is separate the data from your interpretation and then respond to what she said. So let's go back and listen to what she said. So this is definitely a valid response. I want to get to know you more as a person, and I don't want to necessarily play this game. Now, what she actually said was, we're supposed to be having fun. So what would you like to say to clarify what about this? First of all, you think she's not having fun, so you might want to clarify that. Or maybe you want to clarify what's fun to you. I don't know, but what would you say if you were just focusing on her actual words? Like, Ben, what if I said to you, what we're supposed to be doing right now is having fun? What would you say to clarify?
What we're supposed to be doing now is having fun. I would be, well, yeah. What would you like to do that would be fun? What do you
Okay.
find enjoyable?
Okay.
Do you find a good time? I guess I could say that.
Oh, what if you said, I want to get to know you better more as a person, and that's fun for me, but I don't necessarily want to play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing was that, like, I was having fun. I told her that I'm having a good time getting to know you. I told her that, but that wasn't. But she was not obviously having a good time getting to know me in the way that in their interaction. It
Okay,
wasn't.
so pause. Can I call you out on that interpretation?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I want you to pretend this is some other lady that you don't know yet, because you've already like pigeonholed this woman, which I'm sure you're right on. But the point is, I need you to open your mind a little bit to take the coaching
Okay.
and benefit from this conversation. Okay. So, if you were to say, I want to get to know you better more as a person, and that's fun for me, and I'm already having fun. That is good. That's sharing your world. But how could you respond to what she said, which seems to indicate either, by the way, oh, I know what I was going to tell you. Your interpretation of what this indicates, that she's obviously not having fun, is probably not the case. Can I offer some possible alternate interpretations? Again, this is part 1, guys. This is going back to part 1. So let me show you part 1 of understanding women. So you want to get that you do not understand women, that the idea that she's not having fun may have been true and maybe it wasn't. So I'd like to offer some alternate interpretations so you can get what I'm saying. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay, so for example, if I was really nervous, like let's say I thought this was a really high stakes Zoom call. Like maybe you were like my crush of the last like 3 months, and oh my gosh, you finally agreed to meet with me. And I had like, what am I gonna do so I don't look like an idiot? Oh my gosh, I found this brilliant game on the internet, and they say like this is the best, these are the best questions for men, and like he's gonna think I'm brilliant if and then I start into this game and you're like, I don't really want to play that game. I might be dealing with like fear of not being good enough. I'm sure whatever I'm dealing with is about me, not you. Do you get that?
Right. Yeah, totally.
So whatever I'm dealing with over here, I'm like, you want to just talk about where you visited in the world. And I'm thinking, crap, I've only been to Canada, right? Like I have nothing to show. And so I'm like, no. We're not going to talk about traveling because we're supposed to be having fun, which means the game that I picked, right? Do you see
totally.
that it's not that she wasn't having fun? It's probably that she was just dealing with something with herself.
Yeah, no. Well, absolutely.
So hold on. So I'm not telling you to correct that, because it's totally unhealthy to like fix that for women. Guys, do not take on fixing that. Hold on. I want to make sure I don't have a question.
Darren.
What?
No,
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Darren's comment. I once had a date where she spent the evening giving me personality tests. So
Yeah.
so Darren, that was a really big compliment. So I want you to throw out your interpretation of whatever you made that mean and really get that she, first of all, was probably terrified to be herself. Not your fault. I'm just telling you what she was probably dealing with. And she was probably also really, really interested in you. She's like, I don't know, I'd have to hear more details to give more interpretation, but let's just say, throw out your interpretation, get that you do not understand women. And maybe you could have told her, yeah, maybe exactly, Darren. That's definitely a valid interpretation. That's possible. There's 1,000 valid ones. But what I want you to ask is, what did Darren want? What did you do that you let her take the whole freaking evening doing that? I mean, did you want to go to a movie and make out? Like, what did you want to do? Right? So really your job is to set aside your interpretation, listen to what she's actually saying, and then say what you want, which is always your job, is to say what you want, right, guys? And hopefully, if possible, try to respond to what she actually said, because I promise you that is not happening most of the time. Okay, so Ben, what I heard in a little bit of our coaching was like you felt like I was trying to correct you or tell you a better way to do it. And I wasn't at all, that wasn't my agenda. My agenda was just to look at a situation. So did you get anything out of that?
No, I think I absolutely did.
Oh, okay. Good.
No, the thing about it, of course, that might not have been the best example, because what I think that was really, it's interesting to try to understand, like if I think about that situation, for example, I'm going into these situations to try to see what sort of person I click with. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm much more concerned about what kind of person that she is, and do I like her? And that's my assessment. I'm not so concerned if she likes me, really, I guess. I mean, if a woman doesn't like me, we're probably not going to have a very good connection and a click. But so I think I'm a little bit more concerned about that, I guess. But I did not like her, and I was trying to get off of this call and looking for almost after a while any sort of excuse I could to get. And maybe I should have said this isn't going to work out, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings or whatever. And she got to be more and more like just kind of belligerent. She was just
Yep,
not
yep.
very nice,
Totally.
you know.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, well. And at one point she said, well, then maybe we should just hang up. I'm like, okay, bye-bye, see you later. And I
Got
did.
it.
And I think
Okay.
I think she had the sense she's this sort of person who's not used to men because she's very attractive treating her like that. But I don't care. So
Yeah. So, okay. So the point isn't for you to get her to like you. So I really, really want to
Yeah.
make sure this part is clear. The point is actually for you to have a box from which you can clearly understand women. So for example, if your goal is to discover who's a good partner for you, it would be very, very powerful to set aside your interpretations and check them out, or check them out, let's say. So for example, no, what we're supposed to be doing is having fun. And you could say, okay, great. Well, other than that game, what would be fun for you? Which you probably did. It sounds like you tried several avenues. And again, I don't know that this is the best example because of certain aspects of it, but nevertheless, the point is when you want to throw out the interpretation, especially when something a woman says sounds like rejection or sounds like they're emasculating you. So guys, females are emasculating by nature without even intending to. And then occasionally we actually intend to as well when we want to put the knife in. But I promise you that at least 90% of the emasculating I've done as an adult female, I was unaware of. So when I got trained on how men operate, I got shocked. It was like a slap in the face. In fact, I resented the author. Like, what do you mean? I've been hurting men my entire life. My dad, my brothers, my son, my husband. What do you mean? Right? It's so hard to hear, but we don't realize we're doing it. So when a woman occurs as emasculating, I want you to say, I wonder what she means by that, because it's probably not what you think. Okay, Ben, can you think of an example of somebody saying something emasculating to you?
Well, I think I could probably pick something emasculating.
Do you want to keep going or do you want to let somebody else go?
No. I can give you an example from that same
Perfect.
conversation. Like, because
Perfect.
not long after that, like,
Oh boy.
and that was the beginning part. Then she said, we got on a topic of children, right?
Yeah.
And I explained briefly that, I've taken good care of my children. And she says, yeah, well, women don't like men who have kids. And I said, well, I'm very proud of myself as a single father, taking care of my children as I have. And she says, well, yeah, you might like that, but we don't. That was.
So hold on. Here's the problem. You've already decided you hate her. So if we coach this, it's not going to make a difference. Can you pick another example, maybe a client or another woman who said something emasculating?
I don't hate her, but okay.
I'm sorry. That was too strong of language.
No, another example.
Yeah.
Okay, so I maybe from like the last girl that I like really seriously dated.
Okay. Yes.
She was here at my house, and I think this was in March or April. And my sons didn't like clean up the kitchen. Well, they did something wrong, and I didn't pick that battle and kind of hold them to the fire for what they did. And then I kind of let them off, I guess, in her eyes too easy, even though I know full well when you need to pick a battle and when you need to be harsh and when you need to not to. And one of the boys had a harder time. Long story short, so she says to me, "Well, you're not a very you're pretty weak father." Basically, is what she said. That you didn't. You're a weak father, or something along the lines of you should have handled that differently. Something along the I don't remember exactly what her words were, but that's what it felt like. You're a pretty weak. You're a weak father.
Okay.
You should. No, you need to be a better disciplinarian, something along those lines. It was like that.
Okay. Oh, she didn't actually say weak father.
I don't think she said that. I think something like you should have. What? Let me think exactly what she said. I think she said, you need to be stricter. You need to be a stricter father. You need to be stricter with your children. But my interpretation was, you're a weak father. But I think what she specifically said was, this was in Dutch, but she said you need to be more strict with your kids. You need to be a stricter father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a really great example.
Is this a better one?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry, thank you. I hope that wasn't emasculating. Anyways, okay, so would you be willing to take on the possibility that what you think happened, which is that she called you a weak father, never actually happened?
Yeah, because she didn't, because we talked about it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But, yeah,
And
absolutely.
then would you take on that, given that she's a woman, you actually don't know what she meant?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so-
because when we talked about it, she's like, "That's not what I meant at all," even though that's what I thought.
Exactly. Okay, so I meant an example of a woman you haven't digested this with and know everything about already, but we'll do that next time.
Okay.
So anyways, so that is definitely not what she meant. And gentlemen, I want all of you to hear this. Okay. I want to give you the simple version, which is this. The estrogen brain operates differently. We associate with others differently. Like we're more of a herd animal, HERD. Okay. And so you should be a stricter father would not occur to another woman as emasculating potentially. I mean, it would be mother, obviously. But you're a weak father isn't even what she meant. And he found that out by talking to her. So that just validates the point, which is you want to separate the data from the interpretation. But Ben and Jesse and Scott and Darren, I actually want you guys to get this point. If a woman is emasculating you, I would request that you take this a step further and tell her what it sounds like she's saying. And I'll tell you why. It is terrifying to us to be insulting our potential protector provider. Did you hear what I just said? It is terrifying to us to find out that we have insulted a potential protector provider. What are you guys hearing? Ben, what are you hearing me say?
Well, I'm hearing you say that what you just said.
Yes.
It feels like you're risking your own safety and your own future to insult us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's terrifying. If I said something to a date and he said, it feels like you're saying I'm a weak father, I can feel it in my body, how fast I would be backing up. Okay. Okay. So, this is so good. I'm actually going to use this on another call because I really want to go into stopping women from emasculating you guys. We need you to train us, but you've already gotten the short version. Okay, guys. So who has questions about how this works, or who's afraid, like, what if I hurt her feelings? Good. If you hurt her feelings, it's like saying, babe, when you emasculate me, I'm going to call you out on it because it sucks and I don't like it. Okay. That's a service to her. Do you see that, Ben?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, even if you hate her and never, hate is not in your vocabulary. Even if you see her as not a potential partner, to say this is a service to her. And it's not indicating you're interested. It's just saying, hey, babe, that doesn't work for me. And it's also very masculine in the sense that we get the sense of like you set boundaries, which I've already told you guys is very attractive, but Ben hasn't been on a ton of our calls. So yeah, wow. Are you saying I would not even say, are you saying, do not ask her a question because this is what is true. It doesn't matter what she's actually right? You're helping train her how to interact respectfully with real men when you guys tell her how it feels when she's emasculating you. Call her the heck out. So who has questions about this? And I promised myself this call would only be 30 minutes. Sooner, yes. Jesse says it's sooner better than later. I don't want you guys to go one more breath without telling her she's emasculating you. The fresher, the more effective. If you're making out and she does something emasculating, stop the action and say, it feels like what you're saying is this. Let her restore her integrity, because either she's a jerk or she does not want to cut off your balls. I know I'm an ignorant emasculator for much of my life. You can say feel, you can say it, just make sure you say it's about you, make it about you. So it feels like what you're saying is, I am weak, I'm not enough, I'm not meeting your needs, I am not doing enough for you. Whatever you think she's saying that hurts you, tell her what it is. Do not ask, are you saying? Say, it feels like you're saying blank. Tell her what it feels like to you when you're being emasculated. Yep. And if she's a humane person and a girl, she's either going to freak out and apologize like crazy, or she's going to go, I am so sorry. I would never call someone of your caliber a weak father. That's ridiculous. I don't even know your kids as well as you do. I apologize. That's what I would say. Okay. So, and not all women are like real quick to apologize. They might just say, I didn't mean that. But either way, you're training them. It's not okay to treat you like that. Otherwise, okay, guys, I'm about to give you something. If you don't do this, you are literally training her to emasculate you. Do you get that, Ben?
I get that totally.
Okay. Does everybody else not get that? Does anyone else not get that? Let me put it that way. If you do not correct her when she's hurting you, you're training her to be a jerk with you for the rest of time, as long as she knows you. She probably doesn't even know she's doing it, guys. So do me and all the other women a favor and speak up and shut us down when we're emasculating you. We don't want to. I have to yell at my teenage daughters so much because they don't know that they're doing it most of the time. When they do, they're just being a jerk, right? But okay, good. That was my 55-minute, 30-minute call. I was like determined to make this short today, but I really appreciate all of you guys for being here. It's been great. Obviously, if you're ready to invest in yourself and landing a healthy partner for you, you should check out our webinar. I will put the link to register in the, let's see, actually, that's not the link to register. Let's see what comes up if I do this. That's not it either. All right, I'll drop the link to our webinar in the chat in case you haven't seen it. And what this will do is help you vet out if you're a good candidate for our services or not. It's the 5 shifts you must make in order to attract high caliber women consistently, attract the right kind of partners for you, not just high caliber, but like compatible. Okay, so it's pretty powerful. Let's do this. Copy to clipboard. Here's the link to that. And by the way, these 5 shifts are shifts that if you make, you will attract women, like the right kind of women, with or without my help. They're not like, but they are the path and the map to what I do with my clients. So the 5 shifts to consistently attracting and winning over high caliber women. Watch that if you haven't. And otherwise, I will see you guys around the group. Any final questions or comments? And I really appreciate the participation, Scott, Jesse, and Ben. That was awesome.
Oh, I have a quick question. I guess it's not directly related to this. I still haven't officially, introduced myself into the group or whatever. I guess I still need to do that. And
Yeah.
but I guess a question. So, with us introducing ourselves in the group, and you know what's going on with, let's say, our recent when we interact with, or what we're, I guess what we're having trouble with. I mean, that's what I kind of post in my introduction too, right?
Yeah, just like this is me, this is my age, and then any other relevant facts. You don't even have to put your age, but this is me. I've been divorced twice. I want to get married, or, you know, I had a fiance, but she left me suddenly, and I just am only dating duds, or whatever your situation is, Scott, relative to what you want with a woman.
Okay, but if I mean, is it, I don't know, like if I post, is it too personal if I mention, what is it? Maybe where she's from or where we met or maybe where she's going to school. I would never mention like first and last name or anything like that. I'm just,
Oh, wait, you mean there's a particular, okay, there's a particular girl you want to attract?
yes. And
Great.
I
Yes, absolutely. That's great. So you can say, you know, I've done this much dating and there's a girl that I want to succeed with. And that's why I'm on here, to learn how to win her over. Yeah, absolutely. And you can describe her. Yeah, describe her. You know, we see each other in statistics class. And as far as I know, XYZ. Yeah, no, there's, so this is a private Facebook group. Only members see content. It's never online. It's not something any women can see. Okay. So any details like that are safe with the group.
describe my current or past experience with her.
Yeah, sure. If it's relevant, put it in there. Put it all in there.
Okay, cool. I'm just wondering though, is it too much though too if I put like screenshots of maybe like if I put a
This is
screenshot.
brilliant. No, you're actually engaging with the group the way that is really brilliant. I want you to go on there. So do it separately. Introduce yourself and say your goals. And
Okay.
then the next post is, here's the girl I want to win. Here's how I know her. Here's how we've talked before. I think that's great. And that would really allow me to interact with you to benefit everyone. So absolutely.
Oh, okay. Because
Jesse, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I think if I included screenshots of like text message back and forth stuff, that might better be easier to understand instead of trying to explain what she said or knowing what said back. I don't know.
You know, okay. I might ask you to summarize, but just put up there what you want to put up there, and I'm going to direct you after that. Okay.
Cool.
So, Jesse, I put these back up. Were these your question? You know what? I didn't even type it out. So let's do it as a formula. She says X. Oops. So Jesse had asked, what are the 3 steps, guys? So I'm just going to write this out really quick. Steps are, number 1, get, she never thought those things. Step 2 is get that you don't understand women and throw out your interpretation. Oops. And step 3 is respond to her. We talked about a couple ways. One is tell her what you want. One way is to tell her how you feel about what she said, especially if it hurts. I would say this is when this applied. Yeah. And the other one we did was, you know, respond to her actual words. And the last one would be ask a clarifying question. Okay. All right, good. So, and then we just gave some examples. Okay, so does this make sense? Jesse, could you pop on for a second and tell me if this makes sense to you?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. A summary. It went by so fast. I want to systematize it, crystallize it.
Yeah. So thanks for asking for that, because now I've got this saved as a image that I can refer to in the future. And you know what? I'm even going to label it. Let's label it. We're going to label this part 2 of understanding women. I would love to hear, if you guys have a second, to tell me what is the biggest takeaway and benefit you got from this call.
Well, I think for me, it's just that maybe some of us men, or probably most of, or all of us, are probably maybe misunderstanding or jumping to conclusions about what she may or may not have meant. Yeah, definitely from this call and the past couple of them, I think I have somewhere to start with how I might, what I might say or ideas of how I might approach my current situation with someone I'm trying to attract, but personally I'm trying to attract. So
Good. Good. Perfect. And great. Darren, what did you get out of the call?
For me, it's always a relief to take this new approach, because not having to think about what she might mean or what she's having in the back of her head, it frees me up so much, because I used to spend so many processing cycles of my own brain trying to think for her,
Oh,
that by the end of a conversation with a girl, I would just be so worn out.
yes. I'm like, the result that you're describing is exactly what happens. You get freed up when you really embrace just responding to what she actually said and not worrying about interpreting it. I mean, I'm thrilled. It shows effectiveness in your approach that you're feeling freed up. So thank you for sharing that. And did you get something particular out of today's call, or just kind of like a confirmation? Did you get any other benefits?
It always helps me to see practical applications of it. So for instance, with the scenario that you were illustrating earlier with, what did she say? Yeah, I don't know you. It was interesting for me to look at that, because usually what I will do is, now that I've kind of taken this up, trying to take this new approach to it, is that when I speak to someone for the first time, I will introduce myself. Even if they kind of know who I am, I still introduce myself. Hi, I'm Darren. I know you from so and so, because I'm thinking of myself now more in terms of as someone who is worth knowing. So yeah. So
Yes. Okay.
yeah. So I'll never just say hi and just kind of wait to hope something happens and then get I don't know who you are. Yeah.
Dude, you got it. Jesse and
Yeah.
Scott, you're newer to the group than Darren, but do you hear what's possible? Darren has just taken this on. Yes, awesome. Thank you, Darren. Thank you for sharing. I get a lot out of it, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I really appreciate it as well.
Good. I can tell. Okay, who hasn't said, is it Scott? No, Scott came on. Okay, so are you guys complete? Are we good? I'll see you next time, okay? I've got to run away. I keep making these calls way too long. At least that's my experience. I just want everything to just be really short, but I guess it doesn't have to be. It's fine.
My takeaway was that the door isn't slammed. Just because I'm seeing a slammed door, it doesn't mean that it actually happened.
Exactly. Hallelujah. Good. I got a lot out of that too. Thank you. Good. All right.
I don't understand women, and that's a good thing.
Yes. I love
Good
how you said
news.
it that way. That is the good news. And you never will. So what this provides, I actually want to say something, Jesse. I'm not going to end the call. What's miraculous for women is that we want to be seen. We feel connected when we are seen. So when you say back to us what you think we mean, it's an opportunity for us to feel deeply seen. It's something that we rarely get. So it feels like we can breathe for the first time in a long time when you're effective at that. And my point is that I'm so thrilled that you gave up that you understand women, because hopefully you're going to be asking them more questions and seeing them more. This is huge, very attractive, like extremely attractive. Okay, good. Anything else? All right, guys, check you later.